Morning everybody, morning, afternoon, how's it going? Welcome to Darkshed Live. It's Sunday, April the 19th. We're on episode 7 now. Hope you're all well and staying safe at home and looking after yourself and your loved ones. I'm really not feeling it today, I'm so tired. And I guess this raises an interesting question about hold on a second, just check the audio levels over here. About, is it when doing like creative endeavours, do you have to kind of be in the mood to do it? Because I am certainly not in the mood today. But can you kind of put yourself in the right frame of mind? And like being in a dark room certainly helps because it kind of isolates away from distractions, apart from computer, internet, all that sort of stuff. But like putting music on and kind of getting lost in the process is like a really good way of doing that, I think. So yeah, thank you for joining me again today, and let's just see how it goes. So to tie in with that, please ask me lots of questions as we go along today, because that will help me with a train of thought, hopefully, because what's going on in my head at the moment probably won't make any sense. So yeah, drop some questions in the comments section, that'd be great. Hi Alex, great to see you, thanks for joining today. Right, so where were we? Last week we made just need to turn the camera on. Told you I wasn't ready for this. Right, last week on Thursday we made this contact sheet. In fact, right, it started off with the test strip, which I chose that one from, and I made the full contact sheet, which was that, which hopefully you can see is fairly overexposed regarding larger time. For that frame it worked out perfectly, but as I was saying, it's very difficult to actually get all your frames well exposed on a contact sheet because of the differences in exposure between them all. So quickly after last week's show I did another one which was like, I don't know, half to stop off the exposure time, and created this one. So hopefully things are a little clearer in this one. And today I'm just going to go through the process of picking an image from that and choosing which ones to print. So the idea behind these photos was a series that I decided to do called Daylight Robbery, and it was about things being being ripped off with things as prices and value towards things, not necessarily financial, increase in importance when really it's the same as everything else. And I decided to visualize this by using an off-camera flash to highlight trees and bushes and items within a forest, separating them from the rest of everything else, even though they're the same as everything else that's there. And in my head I always thought I wanted to do like a triptych of these, which is a group of 3 images that would ultimately be displayed together. And that was my original plan, and whether that happens like that, I don't know yet. But we'll see how it goes. So that's kind of my thought process going into it, and why I'm possibly making some of the choices that I do regards these images. Yeah, so if there are any questions on that so far, please put them in the comments. Now, as I think I mentioned on Thursday, I don't normally do this for selecting images. So I have kind of done this one already. I've cheated a bit. Let's show you this. This is my Lightroom setup with all the images scanned in. So it's exactly the same images in Lightroom as in the contact sheet. And as you can see, I've already been through and I've flagged them and marked them, and sometimes I give them ratings, and then ultimately what I've done is I've colour coded the 3 I wanted, and then you can see quick and easily how they work together in Lightroom. So that's kind of my general digital workflow regards things like that. But we're going to go analog with it this time, and I'm probably going to end up picking the same images because I've already kind of gone through that process in my head. But we'll do it anyway and see if it tallies up. So I guess my first question to you would be, what would you pick from these images, and why would you pick them? And this kind of ties in with what I was saying last week about if you know what you're looking to do with the images afterwards, it makes this process a little easier. So I've already decided that I want 3 images from it, and I've kind of made that decision that a lot of the choices before I'd even gone out and shot. So I had this concept in my head. So as you can see, I was creating groups of scenes. As I was walking through, excuse me, I would see this, like, these things that I wanted to highlight, and I would do variations. Now, I wasn't metering for every scene. I originally went out and metered. It was a very flat day. The sky was very grey, so the light wasn't changing at all. It was perfect for this, actually. And I metered for that scene and put the majority of the environment in the shadows, and then with the flash I would be firing it so it would highlight a subject nearby, and I knew that first exposure I did was metered correctly. And then when I moved around, if the tree was further away, I would up the power on the flash. If it was closer, I would reduce the power a bit. So it was all a bit of a guess. So as you can see, if I just find a pen, we have a look here. This will run here. We've got this tree in the foreground. This is just where I was experimenting with the flash in different positions and at different strengths. So, like, to pick one of those, then it's like this is kind of like an exposure choice rather than anything else. Let's just get a pen and go through. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through, have a quick scan over, and kind of see which ones are obviously no good. Like this one here, it's way too underexposed. There's no detail in this area at all, as far as I can tell. Like, if I was to do a larger print, I might find some, but I've got similar photos that are exposed better, so I'm going to choose one of those out of those 3. I'm going for this one here. The tree is way too overexposed in the foreground. That was the same scene there. So out of those 2, I'm going to be picking this one here. But as an overall, I'm just going through and seeing which ones really catch my eye. So I'm just going to put a little dot on these ones. This is just a general, which ones I prefer. That one's quite nice. Quite nice. That one. Okay. That one. And I'm basing this on like composition and exposure, interest within the frame, just whether it works. And also I'm kind of thinking about cropping at the same time. So these 2 here are actually quite nice, but this one, the crop doesn't really work. Too much what I'm going for, dead space. So if this was cropped like that, I think that would tie in better. So there's the first phase. Let's go and see if there are any questions. Right, how many images would you normally choose from a single contact sheet or Lightroom scan from a roll? Well, that totally depends on the context as well. So, and the success rate, hit rate of the shots in it. Just thinking of like 2 complete opposites. So let's take this sheet here. I would happily choose one or none from this selection. if none of them worked. And that's because there's no pressure to getting this done. This is like a personal project at the moment. I haven't got a deadline for it or anything like that. If I was shooting an event and I needed certain boxes to be ticked, then if they're all great, I would pick them all. Chances of that are very small. But it's not always about them being technically right. It's about it having the right information in there regards what you want to use it for. So that can vary from 1 to, I don't know, like with 35mm, my hit rate is a lot lower. With medium format, hit rate's higher because I'm spending more time on each shot. They've all got different uses. So I hope that kind of answers that question. It varies. It's like, my caveat for all these answers are, it's all about context, and this is just my view on it. So everybody has a different approach to what they select. Tara says it's got a bit of a Blair Witch feel. Maybe I should have put a beanie on and run around and started crying in the forest at the same time. And hello Mark, welcome, thanks for joining today. So yeah, I've been through and selected some of the key images that I like from it. So then the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be picking which ones I really want to try and print from that. This one is standing out to me. I love the look of it. Like the light, the exposure on the flash compared, I don't know how well you can see it, but the exposure on the flash with the exposure of the sky against the reflection of the trees in this patch of water here, I think it just looks great. I didn't overly stick with the theme I was going for, but maybe it does. I don't know, wedge that in somehow later. But this was more the sort of image I was looking at, was where this tree is artificially highlighted. These ones are kind of okay, but I think I've overexposed the tree in that, so I'm probably not going for it straight away. I think I'm going to go for this one. Do any of these particularly stand out to any of you? If we number that 1, that's going to be 36 down there. Have a quick scan and see if any of those are standing out to you, and let me know. But I think that would be the first one I tried to print. That one looks quite good, but you probably can't see here, but there's a bit of shrubbery here, which I had the flash this side pointing towards that tree, and it's just caught it, and it's just really overblown it. And that's not such a bad thing. Do that one. I think regards kind of what I was going for, this one here works best. So let's see how that compares to what I did digitally. Right, let's just see what everybody else wrote. Fourth one in from the third row. So fourth one in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third row, sorry. Third row. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one there. Yep, that one works, apart from, you probably can't see, but this area, the tree here, it's pure white. There's not going to be any detail in there. So I'd possibly rule that out straight away. I don't want it to look like flash light. I want it to have a bit of subtlety to it. I don't know, maybe there is some detail in there. It could be worth doing some test strips just to see what's there. Taro says the one next to 36, that one there. Yeah, that looks good as well. This looks a little overblown, so I'll put a little X next to these and we can maybe put them in the enlarger and see what they're like. So the thing about doing this process is it really makes you think, I guess, and slows you down. Like the beauty of doing it digitally is the speed at which you can do this process and just iterate and discard things and try things out. This is obviously a lot slower. So to go through each of those, load them into enlarger, do test strips and see what you're getting from it, it's a different ball game, and you can spend a lot of time on that. That's generally why I use digital for this stage. Alex is saying maybe the 5th one in. 3, 4, 5. That one there. Yeah, I like that one as well. Kind of wish I'd had the flash pointed a bit more, but I could dodge that tree and bring that out. So let's square around that one as well, like that. As a choice. Right. Let's compare that to I shut down Lightroom. No, there it is. Right. So in Lightroom, increase the size of these. Hopefully you can see this. I chose these 3 ultimately. So that's. So we've got that one there, I've chosen, which I'm not surprised by. What was the other one? That one, looks of it. Yeah, I'd already, see I told you I'd already done this. And the last one is that one. Ah, right, so the last one isn't on this contact sheet because the negative sheet that I used, the roll I used was from a bulk roll, so I actually had 38 frames on this, and so that didn't fit in the contact printer, but that's that negative there. And then quickly looking at the other ones. So this group of trees, I think it was that one there. Alex, did you suggest that one? Yeah, that's quite nice. Bit of dodging on the tree could work there. Where's the other one? Oh, we were looking at this one, weren't we, to see if there's any detail. Look at that. So there's a lot more detail there than the contact print is showing. Was that one? Yeah, it was. So that's quite interesting. That's quite nice actually, and it does look like there's a fair amount of detail in the shadow part. So that one here, that one or that one, one of these two. I think it's probably that one. That's definitely going to be worth a go as well then, I think. Now I only know that because I've got the scans in front of me. If I didn't have the scans, I would have to do another contact sheet, really, or do full prints to see how much detail is in those shadows. Yeah. Right, Mark says, I mostly scan natives, but a contact sheet helps me see dark and light differences between the negatives. What do you mean by that? I mostly scan. Oh, okay, so your exposure differences, yeah, because once you've scanned it, obviously, depending on how you scan things, if you're setting the exposure separately for each scan, you don't get to see the exposure differences on a frame-by-frame basis, right? Yeah, that's a good idea actually, especially if you're learning your equipment and how your lenses respond, I guess, to different learning your films. Then it's a good way to see that. So yeah, so that's a good point. So on the scans, these two come out fairly similar. But as you can see, the difference between the two negatives is quite large. Right, grab a cup of tea. Right, what should we do now? Let's pick one of these and print it. We'll start printing it. This is going to be a long process for me. There's no way I'm going to carry on streaming while I'm doing all of this, because there's going to be a lot of iteration and testing involved. But I guess one of the beauties of this contact sheet is it's very easy to then go from this to this. So because I've put these back in the same way they're in the contact sheet, that image, everything aligns. So it's very quick and easy to find the negative, which, if they're all of the same shot, can be a bit of a tricky thing to do. So, gloves on. I always wear gloves when handling negatives. And then there's that into there. And I'm going to put that into the negative carrier. Make sure it's aligned with the frame. And clamp it in. Now, oh, hold on a second. It's plugged in. So before putting the negative, there it is. You can use a brush for this, so I only use that on like stubborn bits that stuck into the negative. I've got an airbrush that I blast the negative with just to help get rid of any dust. And that's just, and you can buy a kind of compressed air to do that, but when you're doing it a lot, it's cheaper just to buy a cheap airbrush. Oh God, I've hammers in. So put that in the enlarger. Right, let's hope this all works today. Right, any questions about, actually Mark, you're here, aren't you? You asked a question about choosing contrast for printing a while ago. Let's just bring this up here. There we go. Right, so at this stage, like looking at the negative, it looks pretty contrasty already, which isn't a surprise. I was using flash and it was dark everywhere else, so I'm probably thinking a lower contrast filter already, but ultimately it comes down to the aesthetic that you want. Like, there are technical reasons for using different contrast grades if you want to achieve different effects, but ultimately it's an aesthetic choice. Make sure everything's set up there. Today I'm going to be using multigrade fibre. So as I was saying, my intention for these is to create a set of 3 prints that I'll use for submission to exhibitions and probably on sale. So I want them to be high quality, lovely tangible objects. So that's why I'm using fibre paper at this point. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a test strip. And then I need another light on here. a slow day today. Slow day. Right, let's just see how much. Hopefully you can see that. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I set up my easel. Let me know in the comments if you can't see this very well, because I haven't actually tested this setup properly yet. I set up my easel for an 8x10 frame, because that's the size of the paper, with an 1/8 of an inch board around the edge. Okay, the first thing I need to do is set up the image within that frame. First bit of good news, put the negative in the right way around. So as I mentioned before, move the head up and down, change the size of the image, and the lens board is moved to focus the image. Okay, that's too small. Okay, and I'm just eyeballing it focus wise to start with. That's pretty good. Framing. Quite like that. So then using the micro focus finder. Oh, that's spot on already. Oh, sorry, let's bang the camera up. Yeah. So that's in focus. Let's just make sure this camera's working alright. Right, so let's do a test strip. Let's cut a bit of paper out. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is think about where I want to test strip. Now there's a lot of variance in this image, so it's probably going to involve some dodging. These areas here are going to be very dark in comparison to what's going on here. This is my main interest area, so I'm probably going to do the test strip. I'm going to do it across here to start with. Try and get that edge in. Put some marks on that there. Spare bit of paper. And see where to put the test strip. Yes, I do. Right. Now one thing I didn't do was close the aperture down on the lens. Let's just hide that test strip under a bit of card. Set that to F8. I'm going to choose a grade 2. I do want this image to be a bit contrasty. I'll start with the grade 3. Let's see where we go from there. Okay. Look for the shiny side on the paper. There's my 2 marks. So it's going to be going there. Okay. Now that paper's going to bunch a bit. So I'll just get something. You can tape it down. Spare battery as well on there. Where's that battery edge? Let's go there. This is just a very quick starter. Oh. Just to get going. Right. And as we're on fibre paper now, it's going to be 2 minutes in there. Development. I need some way of hooking people in via audio so we can have conversations while this is taking place. Oh, talking of which, next week I think I might have my first guest on the show. They're going to come on and we're going to go through some of their images with a view to kind of being like a bit of kind of constructive criticism and with a view to like how they can improve on what they've already done rather than just accepting what they've created. I want to have a look through and feed that back into their photography. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, is this actually starting to come out? 1.5 minutes, that is not... Did I have the paper upside down? Oh, look at that. Maybe I did. It's a good start to the day, look. Oh, that looks like a... Yeah, there. Excellent, first disaster. That's what happens when you do things live, it goes wrong. So what is going on there? Let's cut another test strip ready because that is no good. I'm just going to go straight in and do another exposure because that's nothing to start from. So I've cut some more test strips. Now, have the paper all the way around? I don't think so. lens a bit more. It's on f8. Let's go to 0.6. I'm very strange going on there. I do have a. Let's turn that off. I've got a battery pack over here. It's just charging at the moment, and it's got a huge amount of light leaking out of it. So I think that's what that patch was. Right. I'm going to use this paper for a while. I don't know which way it curls. Let's try and run this way. Anybody got any suggestions? I think I've got the curl the wrong way. So I'm just going to do another test strip with the curl the other way. It could be the developer's gone. Right, let's try and curl up. Ah, yeah, look at that. So yeah, it's curled up. Very good. Oh yeah, that goes to show how long it's been since we used that paper. There we go. That one needs another minute. And I'm going to write curl up on my box. So next time I won't make that mistake. Well, I'm going to head back to the computer after this is fixed, so get your questions in. It's all too easy to make mistakes, isn't it, when you're not on it? Hey, that's the point of a test strip though. Paper there, so. Okay. Right. Welcome back. Right, what have we got here? Mark, I use a small magnet to hold tissue. Yeah, that's great choice. In fact, I've got some for that exact purpose, but I don't know where it is at the moment. I'll come back to that in a minute. Get that set up. Critique tones, awesome. Yeah, it's a difficult thing talking about your photography so openly. So I'm very grateful for this person coming on. It's Graham from Scene 16. It is very. You're kind of opening yourself up in many respects, but it's a great way to improve. Like when I first started selling my prints, it was really, really scary because obviously there's lots of different things to why people buy prints, but it's difficult to not take things very personally. But ultimately, you learn from that process about what people think about it and where your failings are. And you have to accept that and work to improve on it. So by sharing it, whether that's for sale or just with other people, I think can be very beneficial to your work. Right. So Alex, I've made test strips with the safety red filter still in place, thinking it was grade 2 almost every time I print ideas on the first strip. Yeah, when I'm doing lots of printing, everything becomes second nature, and the number of kind of little mistakes you make just disappear. So you're getting it's like muscle memory, isn't it? You kind of just do things automatically, but if you haven't done something for a while, you kind of have to retrain your brain to do it. Sliding paper against the side of your face. Yeah, actually something I just did there. I don't think I actually talked about it. Like if you lick your fingers and just touch the paper, you can sometimes get a bit of a tackiness on the side with the emulsion as well. I don't know what I'd feel if I put it on the side of my face, my facial hair. Does it feel different? I'll try some in a minute. Right, let's take this print out. Like a wash. Nice bit of. Okay. I don't know why that was so dark. That's because I had a big light on, didn't I think? There we go. Much better. Right, so test strip. Which way around was that? There we go. So this is the reflection part. I didn't actually put it in quite the right place. And I was working this way. So this is looking quite good here. What's being revealed here is that's not particularly sharp in that area. This looks okay here. That's quite nice. The exposures varies quite substantially over this image. Anyway, so I'm very aware I'm going to have to do some dodging and burning. get this right, but I think I want to just do full print probably around here. Quite like, so the sky that's just coming through here, I'd like that to be white. So I'm going to increase the contrast and do there, so 1, 2. Increase the contrast. And lights off. I don't know why I didn't get light switches installed at both ends of this shed when I got it set up. It's a bit, well, I suppose it's a bit of exercise, isn't it? I want to check the focus again. Yeah, the focus is gone. Yeah, maybe I didn't tighten them up enough. It slipped out. There we go. Probably do with getting my larger service, or at least learning out how to service it myself. I've got a feeling that the knob that you turn to lock the lens board isn't actually gripping it and it's slipping a bit. I've noticed that, like, it used to be a case that I could leave it for days and the focus wouldn't change at all. Whereas I've noticed I'm coming back and I'm having to refocus. It's such a bad thing. And then okay, so just making sure that the edge of the paper go under the easel. Now the curl up. I should put this the other way. Now I think slip slightly in the easel. I don't know if you can see this side here, the border on it's a bit narrow compared to that one there. One thing I don't like about that easel is when you put it in, as you close the lid, the little metal bars it pushes against, it's very easy for the paper to move. Magnets, that would work, wouldn't it? Put the paper in, put some magnets on, put the easel down, then lifted the magnets off. Now it's staying in the same place. This is looking overexposed, I would say. But it might be alright in the middle. It might be a case of just having to dodge the outsides. I'm working with the contrast control the detail in the shadows. I like to go to a full print pretty quick. Like some people like to do test strips all over their, like in various spots over the frame to work out the exposures at each part. What I like to do is get a full print done, and then I'll do test strips in smaller areas. And then I can use this print that I've got here as my reference for that and mark on it. And then I do probably a couple more test strips for specific areas. And then I do another full print with those adjustments on. And then particularly with fibre paper, I'd let it dry down, because the prints can go a bit darker. You can put them in the microwave as well. I should put time on that. We'll pretend that that's been slowly about 30 seconds so far, so I can turn the light on. Yeah, very contrasty and way too much. A minute. I just put that. Roger, I'm really not with it there. I think I just swap those tongues around. I don't know. The water and the fix. Okay, I'll leave that to wash a while. But, like, as a print, it's rubbish. But for something to mark on what I'm going to be doing, it's useful. Right. Any questions? Mark, is it valid to use RC paper to get what you want and then swap to fibre with fine tuning? Yeah, that's a good way to save a bit of cash, isn't it? Have I done that? I tend to work with the paper that I intend to use at the end. Now, if I get to this point, I don't actually think that paper's working for that print. I've never gone that way, I've never gone fibre to RC. I've started on RC and then gone, actually I really want to put this on fibre paper, and gone that way pretty much straight away. Or everything that's relative to your exposure times will translate over to fibre, but you might find the kind of starting exposure is different between different paper types. So for Ilford, RC, glossy, matte and pearl, in my experience, exposure times are all the same, but going from like RC to fibre, there is a difference, and they respond differently as well. So you've got to take that into consideration. But yeah, it's not a bad thing to do, especially if you're kind of experimenting with something. But I like to kind of stay with the paper type that I pretty much know I'm going to use anyway. That makes sense? Yeah. Right, so let's get this into now, obviously this is nowhere near enough washing for a fibre print. But for a test, it's fine. Let's get the lights on. There we go, way too much contrast, I would say. Although once the lights are on, it does feel a lot better. Bearing in mind, I want all these prints to work together as a set as well. So I need to bear that in mind. The other images that I've chosen aren't as kind of naturally as contrasty as this image. and I don't want an overly contrasty look to it all. I do want to bring some details out, so I'm going to reduce the contrast on that and do some more test strips. But I'll do that in my own time, because otherwise we're going to be 2 hours into the stream and all you're going to be doing is watching me go between the enlarger and the trays as I iterate through the process. But that's where we are with the first print. Quite pleased with that. Any thoughts? Hope you like it. Yeah, so there we go. Thanks for watching again. If there are any questions further about that once the stream's finished, drop them in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter with the hashtag darkshedlive, and I'll put them into the next part. Like I say, hopefully I've got a guest coming on next week to talk about some of their photos, and if that's something that you'd like to do, get in touch and we'll hook you into the stream somehow and get your images up there, and we'll have a chat through some of your photos. Like I say, I'm no expert on this. I'm not an expert, but I have a fair amount of experience, and it's just, sometimes it's good to just talk through things, so you can learn about your photography and yourself, and why you do things, and what your own limitations are, and whether they're things that you can control and change. And there we go. Anything else? No, that's all. Thank you very much for watching today. I'll be back on Thursday at 11 AM. Don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, tell all your friends. Oh, shit. Speak to you soon. Take care. Have a good week, and see you on Thursday at 11. Bye.